Okay, we're back on Sports Page here on GJRB Online, the abbreviated version tonight. As we wrap up, we're going to be just doing this for a little while longer, and then that's going to be it for tonight. We're going to make it a relatively short show, but we're going to be back with a regular program coming up in a couple of weeks here on GJRB Online. Right now, I want to kind of give you our program schedule as of that before we get into the football preview, and that will continue on our next sports page as well. Our program schedule for this week, and like I said before, I'm going to be recording our GJRB Schedule Update podcast, and I'll be doing that Wednesday, and that will be uploaded on our podcast weekend, and that'll be a weekend of August 13th and 14th here on GJRB, and of course that will also be available on our GJRB TV YouTube channel. So we'll have a video version of that so you can see the schedule as well as me reading it to you. So that's coming up. I'll have that one on the air coming up. That will be on this week. I'll be recording that, and then the video within that week, I'll have that up too, so that you can see the full schedule. That will be available on our GJRB TV YouTube channel, and I'll have that available to you. So just to let you know about that, and you'll have an idea what's coming up. Meanwhile, though, I'm going to kind of skip over some stuff, as I said, because this is an abbreviated show, and I'm going to read a few things, but I'm going to give you our NFL preview. Yeah, the Rams actually relocated back into Los Angeles again. But I'm going to do a little bit of our football preview, and then I'll work on the full preview for our next edition of Sports Page. Okay, but for right now, we're just going to kind of read some of it for you. But right now, okay. Right now, the Chicago Bears outside linebacker Willie Young has agreed to a 2-year contract extension through 2018. General Manager Ryan Pace announced this today. He's slightly speechless right now. Super excited about the opportunity for extending his career with the Bears. Young said, quote, "I want to give a big thanks to the organization for absolutely believing in me, and no doubt just super excited right now." He said his contract docs were compiled around 11:30 p.m. yesterday. The first contract extension here he's excited about. Excited for Willie, excited for the Bears. He did this because of everything he brings to the table and as a productive player, and he's a good player, and most importantly, he's a good teammate. Young, now 30, moved from a defensive end to outside linebacker in 2015, leading the team to 12 tackles for loss, finishing second on the defense in sacks. He's currently in the final season of his 3-year contract, and a 7-year veteran played for the Detroit Lions from 2010 to 2013. Young said he wants to retire from the Bears. So, yeah, good deal there. Okay, let's see. The 32 NFL. Here's some of the preview of some of the 32 NFL games. These teams now are at training camp. Yeah, these teams are now in training camp right now. The NFL's off season is now over, and the NFL Nation is ready. Here we go. Yep. We're back. Do you know what they did? Now let's start off with the Denver Broncos. They signed Von Miller to a long-term. The Broncos vastly improved their outlook. Miller accepted the largest contract for a non-quarterback in league history, well over $114.5 million. $70 million of that guaranteed. Showed commitment to the popular as a player in the locker room, and their franchise defender on the field. And look at Kansas City, Justin Houston, tearing his ACL. Okay, the outlook for the season. In the middle of February in Houston, he had surgery for a bulky ACL. Houston, the Chiefs' best pass rusher, he ranks second in the league since 2012 with 50.5 sacks. He's been a superb presence and playing the run and then dropping the coverage. The Raiders attracted some top-tier free agents. Linebacker Bruce Irvin, cornerback Sean Smith, and left tackle Kalichi Osamel, and free safety Reggie Nelson. Saw silver and blacked them fashionable fit, giving the credence to the notion that the Raiders are on the upswing. Yeah, that's important. San Diego Chargers signing in Matt Slauson. The Chargers needed help at center and found the diamond in the rough during the free agency when the Chicago Bears released Slauson for the 30-year-old Nebraska product. He's experienced anchor and decisive voice up front in the off-season work. San Diego offensive line needs to stay healthy and play better for the Chargers and to have a realistic chance at making the playoffs. Baltimore Ravens, they drafted Ronnie Stanley over Laramie Tunsil, considered a top offensive tackle in the draft, but the Ravens opted to select Stanley on a number 6 overall pick after Tunsil's gas mask video. Explain that one. I have no idea what that's about. Stanley, the first offensive lineman selected, and is the highest draft pick for the Ravens in 16 years. In addition, Stanley allowed Baltimore to be part ways with an unreliable, expensive Eugene Monroe Stanley, and will become the first rookie in the Ravens' 20-year history to start the season opener. He left tackle protecting Joe Flacco's blind side as the quarterback recovers from a season-ending knee injury. Okay. Got a lot of them to do, so we're going to kind of pick around, but when we get back onto another sports page coming up, I'll give you a lot of these scores, okay? A lot of this stuff. I'll give you a lot of it, so coming up on the next sports page, and of course I'll give you all the sporting news on Sports Page Friday on the Garyj Wrestling program, so we always do Sports Page, and as a matter of fact, try to do it every hour on the Garyj Wrestling program here on GJRB Online. Some of the interesting ones that I think I would like to be interested in, being from Pittsburgh, I want to do one to the Steelers. Martavis Bryant, he got suspended. It was a league handed down a year-long ban back in March, disrupting otherwise a quiet off-season for the Steelers, removing a primary player or playmaker in a potential historic offense. Steelers equipped to handle losses by Bryant's big playability. He had 12 touchdowns in his first 13 NFL games, complementing Antonio Brown's skills set perfectly. And this was the shocking story is the shape the Steelers' offseason reminded the risk involved in drafting players with character red flags coming out of college. And let's see what else we have here. Big signing, Gordy Glenn. Buffalo Bills did this. Signed Gordy Glenn for the long term. Gordy Glenn for the long term. Glenn wasn't in the locker room. He has a 340. He weighs 345 pounds, 345 pounds. But at 345 pounds, 345 pounds is also the NFL's largest. The Bills are thrilled to have him able to retain the mammoth left tackle this season. He's 26, coming off of the best season as a pro, and he has first opportunity to hit the open market in free agency. The Bills assigned Glenn the franchise tag and reached a long-term deal within days, and they paid a steep price, $65 million over 5 years, including $36 million guarantees, partly because they whiffed up the 2014 second-round tackle. And don't even ask me to pronounce this name. Cyrus Kuwanjo. Okay. Pretty good at trying to come up with it. And, well, of course, you've heard about Tom Brady now. Tom Brady, you heard about this. The NFL's 4-game ban on Tom Brady was affirmed in court, and Brady's appeal for rehearing was denied. So Brady decided against pursuing any more further legal process. He's just going to deal with it. He's going to sit it out. Meaning that the Patriots will turn now to Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo for the first quarter of 2016, and he'll travel to Arizona to host the Dolphins, Texans, and Bills. And the Jets' two most important free agents there, defensive end Muhammad Wilkerson, and 5 years brought back quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick in the 11th hour, and lost nose tackle Damon Harrison to the Giants. But this put 2 out of the 3 ain't bad. Cap standout has been almost impossible to keep all 3. So, yeah. Okay, you got Sports Page here on GJRB Online. We're going to be, this is going to be pretty much going to be going into our final segments here on Sports Page tonight. Like I said, this is the abbreviated edition, Saturday night edition. We're going to have a full show coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't have the schedule in front of me what I was going to do. I have a calendar schedule here, so I'm just going to pull that calendar off the wall here real quick so I can have a look and see exactly what we have planned on doing on the Sports Page. Let me see. I'm going to check it here. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back, and I'll give you the full schedule of what we got coming up next. Be right back.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon.
If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming.
And programming in other great music formats.
Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy.
It was the year World War II ended, and the troops came home, and the music was fabulous, with big hits from Perry Como, Judy Garland, and the Andrews Sisters. The year was 1945. Listen to the year in music on the next Swing Time. I'm Gary Rustin, and I'll be featuring the biggest hits from that year, along with trivial information about the prices of items such as groceries, the news events, the culture of 1945 on the next Swing Time.